Ladies and gentlemen, top of the morning, top of the afternoon, top of the whatever it is to you right now. Brock Lesnar is the new WWE champion after WWE Day 1, and I got a lot to say about it, man. We got problems, man. We have got problems. First of all, if you're watching on YouTube, feel free to hit that thumbs up button and subscribe, ladies and gentlemen. So, I'm not going to take up any more of your time. I'm going to hop right on into this thing. Look, man, the Fatal 5-Way at WWE Day 1 was outstanding. I had a lot of fun watching that matchup. It was a sprint. I tried to think about how many more matches in recent history was that started faster than that and kept that tempo throughout the entire match. I cannot really think of many. So it was a sprint to the finish. The match ended a little bit too fast for my taste. Brock Lesnar gets the pin over Big E. I did not like that. And I'm gonna get to Big E later on in this video, but nevertheless, this is like when Cody Rhodes beat Sammy Guevara in this sense. I said when that happened, yes, it was a shocking moment, but at what cost? Look at how many negatives that you unlock with having Cody Rhodes defeat Sammy Guevara. Brock Lesnar winning is a shocking moment. Didn't expect to see it at WWE Day 1, but at what cost? Yes, we're getting Brock versus Bobby Lashley, but the build. Brock is about to take the title home to Canada and on some random form. And silly me, I thought that we hated when the part-timer took the world title and left and took it off of weekly programming. That is just me. Like I've seen in times before, people get upset that Brock won the title or Goldberg won the title. It's like, another part-timer taking the title. Like, is nobody mad about that? And I mean, when you look at the build, it's going to be a whole lot of Bobby Lashley is here and Brock Lesnar is not. And looking at, if we get this at the Royal Rumble, we are already in a no-win situation. If Brock wins, it's like, well, Bobby Lashley lost to the part-timer. If Brock loses, it's, why the hell did you put the title on Brock in the first place? So it's a no-win situation. Yes, it's gonna be a banger. Don't get me wrong. Brock Lesnar and Bobby, that is gonna bang. It's a first-time matchup. Don't get me wrong. The match itself is gonna be outstanding. But Brock and Bobby did not need the title. If you look at Brock and Bobby, Brock versus Lashley at WrestleMania, that is a marquee matchup. The only storyline you really need is Bobby Lashley has been begging for this match for years. That's the only storyline you need for me, and I'm very much excited. So this did not need the championship for it to happen. Nevertheless, another negative is where the hell does SmackDown go now? In the meantime, you see, this is the problem. When you build up Roman Reigns as much as you have built him up, and you don't build up anyone else on the roster up to his level or even close to his level, we end up in a situation to where you rely on Brock Lesnar. And now that Brock Lesnar is gone, there is nobody there. So here's what's going to happen at the Royal Rumble. We are going to get some random person to go in and face Roman Reigns, and they are not going to have any business being in that ring with him, let alone wrestling him for the title. The proposed matchup that a lot of people wanted to see or thought was going to happen was Drew McIntyre versus Roman Reigns. And at this point, Drew McIntyre coming off a feud versus Madcap Moss. Like, who in the blue hell wants to see that? Not me. Like, Drew McIntyre versus Roman Reigns, like coming off of that feud versus Happy Corbin. No, get out of here. That is just going to be a random feud that I will have no interest in if it goes down. Nevertheless, this is what's going to eventually have to happen. Someone from Raw is going to have to win the Rumble, depending on what happens with Brock Lesnar in the title. If Brock Lesnar holds the title all the way through to Mania and he's defending it on Raw, somebody from Raw is going to have to win the Royal Rumble and then go to SmackDown to challenge Roman Reigns, whether it be AJ Styles or whomever. That is the only hope of having somebody that's in the ring with Roman Reigns at Mania that looks worthy, because they have not cared to build anybody up on SmackDown. Nevertheless, when you look at Big E, there's a lot of people out there talking about his title reign and how they didn't like this and how they didn't like that. And I'm just sitting there like, bro, it is not Big E's fault. If you just look at this recent feud, they booked Big E to be the least important person in the entire feud. It started off as Big E versus Seth Rollins. Then Kevin Owens jumps in, and it's like, okay, can Seth Rollins trust Kevin Owens? Can they trust Kevin Owens? And it's like, oh, excuse me, can Big E trust Kevin Owens? And then it's Seth versus Kevin Owens. Now they're a team. And then Bobby Lashley jumps in. And it's like, Bobby Lashley is the most important person. We got to get him out of here. And it's about everyone else except the champion. And you get to the match and Brock Lesnar comes out last. That should have been a dead giveaway that Brock was winning right then and there. So Big E was not even booked to be the most important person in a feud in a fatal 5-way. You think that's happening to Roman Reigns? You think Roman Reigns is getting booked to come out last in the match? You think Roman Reigns is getting booked as the least important person in his own feud with multiple people? No, booking matters. So we have to take that into context when we get to talking about Big E's title reign and what you liked and what you didn't like. We have to legitimately ask ourselves, is it Big E's fault? And the answer is no, it's WWE's fault. Big E was a fine champion. He could cut a promo very fine. He can work in that ring. He's great. He has it all. But if you don't have the booking behind you, there is most times nothing that you can do if your momentum is continuously getting stopped. So we gotta stop this narrative that Big E didn't have a good title run. It's his fault. He isn't this. He isn't that. No, WWE isn't this. It isn't that when it came to Big E's title reign. So that's my thoughts on the whole situation. Let me know what you think, whether that be on Twitter at CoreyBD or at 2SweetPod. Your thoughts on Brock Lesnar having the championship, either on Twitter or on YouTube.